Alright, here is the video review for the ThreeZero HK, I guess ThreeZero, Iron Man Avengers Infinity War Mark 50, the shiny nanotech version we saw in Infinity War and Endgame. And very cool, very sleek, very neat nanotech suit here in its little die-cast ThreeZero form. It does come with this fabulous window box packaging. You see where the figure and all the little accessories sit with some art in there. And then all the disclaimer stuff on the back. But very nice, slick packaging, little hologram, ThreeZero hologram there. Little foil detailing around some of the edges. But a nice little shot there on the box itself. You also get the instruction manual that shows you how to install the batteries. There are batteries as well as all that stuff. There was also a little how to do, the kind of be careful around the edges and how to install things sheet that mentions that there is a weapons pack coming out, like a separate weapons pack, which is a little disappointing. I would have liked maybe a deluxe version of this that came with all the weapons, because he comes with a couple of blades and a bigger bladed weapon and flying effects, but it would have been neat to get some of like the big, the nano hammer and weights and all that stuff. But there's cannons for the arms and all that. That is coming in a separate pack. I don't know if those are going to have individual LED features. I would hope if they're selling them separately that things like the cannon and some of the energy bits might have some LED effects in that, but we'll see. He does have some LED effects here in the chest and the head. And unfortunately, they didn't work at this time where you can just push on the arc reactor to get it to light up, which is one of the features that I really liked, mostly because there is some, I don't know if this is the reason, but there is some painted metallic detailing inside the arc reactor itself. We pop this off, and then you have to unscrew this to put the batteries in. They go behind this clear blue piece, but there's a little button. You don't have to unscrew it to turn it on. There's a little button right here on top. You just clip. There you go. Lights that up, and then just snap the chest piece back into place over that. There we go, like that. And then you got the glowing arc reactor. And then on the head, you just kind of pop his skull off here. There's one of the lines ends up being a seam, and there's a little button right here that goes right in here. You need 4 AG1 batteries, 2 in the head, 2 in the chest. Then you can just put this back on. And again, some of them have worked out in such a way where you can turn the lights on without having to pull the helmet apart, but it's easy enough to pop apart and put it back together. And there you have now his eyes and chest are lit. There we go. Ooh, very cool. But it's got a nice range of motion in the head. You can get flying poses. There's a couple little panels here, little aerodynamic panels that can flip out with some detailing underneath on the back. You do want to be careful. Just don't jank it around like you would a standard plastic action figure, because some of the metallic paints can scratch. You want to be careful. But you can see there's even some detailing up inside the little ball detail underneath the flap up here on the shoulder. You got bicep swivel, the hinges at the shoulder. You got a dual hinged elbow for a lot of movement there. Ball joints at the wrist with a bunch of swappable fists, which we'll show off here shortly. A lot of double joint at the ball joint at the bottom of the helmet, as well as at the base of the neck itself. You can see you've got some good ab crunch there, and it still kind of keeps there's a little bit of a breakup because you're taking a skin tight, skin-like suit and turning it into a posable action figure, but it does a pretty decent job of keeping that flow going throughout the detailing there on the back. The panels on the waist will get out of the way. The hips will lower down to get a little bit out. You can see there's a ball there. But a lot of the stuff will move a little bit to make clearance. Just move slow and be careful, and you should be fine. You see the leg actually has an extension there for some longer poses, although hopefully you don't need to pull it all the way out like that. That looks a little silly, but you can get that out of the way while you're posing him around so he doesn't clip. You can get that down and get that, move things without grinding it against pieces and chipping the paint. But you saw the thigh swivel there, the dual hinge motion of the hips. You got a dual hinge knee there. And again, as you open it up, here's a little bit of a gap, but you can see they've got some nice painted detail inside of the knee itself. So even when it's open, it kind of keeps that organic flow going. Same here, the foot is a bend of the toe. Oh, still got a little protective plastic there on the foot. Let's pop that off. And then he's got a couple little ankle shields that you can Obviously, again, much like the thigh, you don't need to open them up that far. You can see the bulge right there at the ankle to get that range of motion, but as you're moving things around, you can get those out of the way so you're not chipping paint and get all the different pieces into some further articulation range than you would normally get. Go ahead and straighten him back up. Size-wise, he is, as all the like the previous versions of the smaller die-cast Iron Man line, he's a slightly larger scale. He's not quite to the full 7-inch scale, but he is just a smidge taller than your average 1/6 or 1/12 Marvel Legends, 6-inch scale Marvel Legends. So there is a Sleepwalker. Weapon-wise, as mentioned, you can pop out the fists. He comes with both hand and foot repulsors. The legs are a little longer, the hands are a little shorter, I guess, but they can go either way. It shows you how to install either one in either hand or fist. Now, not every hand has ports for it. There is, like I said, so here's just the closed fist. There is also, you just pop it off the ball joint. There is a slightly more open fist, and you can see kind of see that the repulsor inside the fist is only halfway there, because this is the hand that can hold the bladed weapon, and it does take a little bit of. I do recommend trying to put the weapon in the hand before you snap it onto the body, because it can be a little bit of a pain. But just snaps right in there, and then pops it back on, and now he's holding the weapon. You can have the long blade on top or bottom. This is the way the instructions show it. I think that's how it's supposed to be, but totally your preference. You can have, if you want to have the longer blade on top, you can. But there's the grippy hands. There are open, non-portal. You can see there's like the shiny paint, or shiny, I don't know if it's like a mirror foil, or if it looks like it is just metallic paint, but shiny paint inside the hand for a repulsor hand. So you can have him do stuff like that. So you can have him putting his hand up. This is just kind of a flat open hand, but there are more dynamic. Every single hand I'm showing off here has a mirror counterpart. So like here's the standard punching fist. Here is the hold the weapon fist. It has the opening and all that stuff. You've got two. These are the repulsor blast hands. You can see it doesn't have the shiny paint in them. Those are the ports for the blast, which we'll show off in a minute. Here's the other flat hand for the right side that matches this. And then you get two non-ported, fine, die. Like, seems to be your fate there, Tony. Nope. Just for the pose without the blast hands, and then you get the open portal hands, and there's just the regular fist that we took off. You also get two with the nano blades extended out of the gauntlet hands. Let's put one of those on real quick. So you can give them a weapon that way as well. Plus, like I said, there is an entirely separate weapons pack coming that hopefully will be pretty cool. Okay, I pulled his forearm off instead of this thing, but that's easy enough. Just plug it right back in. So we showed the bladed hands. I'm not going to show off every single hand. Let's put on the ported, I don't know what I'm saying. The blast effect hands here. And then you can snap the actual repulsor effects in to his hands. You can have him shooting a repulsor blasts at people. Let's see if we can't get him to stand here. There we go. Cool. And he also has some ports in his feet for lower blast effects. Just plug in like that. So now he's hovering and shooting blast effects at people. Now obviously you can't just stand him up on the blast effects, but like previous ones, there's just a little portal here on his back, a little butt plate you take off, and he does come with a stand. So you can plug them into the stand here. Just kind of clip it in. There we go. Nope. We're in there. Make sure to clip it all the way in. Come on. There we go. And then you can have him hovering in flight. And again, you've got, that was a little, you can change the orientation of all of these things. It just pegs in like this. So he was falling on this joint down here. One, every joint does have its own screw, so you can tighten these to your liking as well. But if that was too much, you can kind of twist it this way and rotate it on hinges. The clip will hold him, but it doesn't take a whole lot of actual force to knock him off of that clip. So just be careful. Once he's on there and you don't mess with him, he's fine. You can bump the desk itself and wiggle, he's fine. It's just if you actually bump that connection significantly directly, he does have a tendency to pop off. Also, or just get him from the right angle. It plugs in securely, but leverage is really what does it. You can pump it directly, or if you whack one of his feet at just the right amount of force, it can cause him to pop off of that stand. Again, this right here is proving to be a little loose, but again, there's a screw right there that I can tighten if I want. But yeah, so you can get some cool action flying poses. But yeah, it's another fantastic Iron Man from ThreeZero. I've got the 42. Is it the 42? Yeah, the 42 and the Hulkbuster. Then the 42 can go in the Hulkbuster, and that's really cool. So 43, 43, 41, 45. I think it actually is the 43 and the 44. Anyway, now I'm getting into designations, and I used to know all those things more offhand, because I think the 42 was the one from Iron Man 3, and the 43 was the same armor, but with the red and gold reversed, and then the 4. Anyway, we don't need to get into that particular conversation. Obviously, this is the Mark 50, so there's a lot of variations of Iron Man armor out there to remember. But cool LEDs, cool blast effects, and for the standard figure, a decent amount of extra fists and weapon accessories. Although knowing that there's a package of some more of the cooler nano weapons he used, like I said, the blasters and the big hammer and the traps. In the film coming, I would have liked to have seen this been released as a slightly more deluxe package, with maybe one or the two of those come in, especially if there's an LED effect in those parts. So I haven't actually. There may even be a product page up for them that I haven't checked, and that's my due diligence that I failed to do. But I know there is a separate effects part coming, and that will be cool to add on to this. But it's a very cool Mark 50 Iron Man from Avengers: Infinity War from ThreeZero. Thank them. I want to thank them for the promotional sample to check out. It is a promotional sample. You get the little card that says, "Don't sell this, or we will not work with you anymore." Or could work with you. We reserve the right to not continue our relationship if we catch you selling these things. Which is fine, because I like Iron Man. They're not going anywhere. Same with some of the Transformers stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out ThreeZero's Iron Man. They've got some Marvel lines. They've got a bunch of cool Transformers stuff. They've got the MDLX line. And as well as the bigger DLX line, the deluxe line, with movie figures. And like the MDLX is like some reimaginings. There's a Megatron coming soon. I can't wait to see that, because I've got the Optimus and the Bumblebee, and they're all very cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Mark 50 Iron Man from ThreeZero. Check them out. They're putting out some really fantastic product at some really solid prices.